Welcome everyone once again. Thank you very much for being here at this, what we're calling a showcase for ministries related to environmental justice and environmental sustainability in various parts of the Asian continent and islands. And this conversation is situated within the larger context of the 66th UN Commission for the Status of Women. And the theme for that conference, which deals every year with gender equality, but also takes on an annual theme each year to hone in on one specific sub-issue or area within that very broad concept of gender equality. And this year, the theme of focus is the intersection of gender equality with environmental justice. In other words, with sustainability and practices that support mutuality and well-being in the natural world, and how that intersects with the well-being of women and girls and gender diverse persons. So that is the reason that we have chosen the theme of environment-related ministries for our conversation today. And we're very glad to have this community together to share some of your own experiences of these types of ministries and to hear from one another and perhaps to exchange some responses and comments as well. So we have invited anyone who would like to take some time sharing their experience or project in ministry related to environment today. But before we get into that, I found a short video to help situate us in this theme in a somewhat prayerful way.
¿Qué tipo de mundo queremos dejar a quienes nos sucedan, a los niños que están creciendo? Motivado por esta pregunta, quisiera invitarlos a participar en la Semana Laudato Si, del 16 al 24 de mayo del 2020. Es una campaña global en ocasión del 5º aniversario de la Carta Encíclica Laudato Si sobre el cuidado de la casa común. Renuevo mi llamado urgente a responder la crisis ecológica. El clamor de la tierra y el clamor de los reyes no dan para más. Cuidemos la creación, don de nuestro buen Dios creador. Celebremos juntos la Semana Laudato Si. Que Dios los bendiga. Y no se olviden de rezar por mí.
पेड़ लगाएं हम सब बच्चों पेड़ लगाएं, पेड़ लगाएं हम सब बच्चों पेड़ लगाएं। धरती माँ पुकारती है पेड़ लगाएं, हाँ हाँ पेड़ लगाएं। जीवन खोकर जीवन देते वृक्ष ये हमारे, पर्यावरण की रक्षा करते वृक्ष ये हमारे, जीवन खोकर जीवन देते वृक्ष ये हमारे, पर्यावरण की रक्षा करते वृक्ष ये हमारे, सुंदर सुहानी जिंदगी को ये संवारते, खुदा की महिमा गरिमा भी यही है। पेड़ लगाए, हाँ हाँ पेड़ लगाए,
पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए, पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए।
चिड़िया चहकती है पेड़ों से, फूल है महकते, पेड़ों से जीवन है इनका दोस्त ये हमारे, चिड़िया चहकती है पेड़ों से, फूल है महकते, पेड़ों से जीवन है इनका दोस्त ये हमारे, कोयल सुनाती है मीठे गीत पेड़ों से, भैया मेरे बहना मेरी पेड़ तुम लगाओ, पेड़ लगाए, हाँ हाँ पेड़ लगाए,
पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए, पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए,
पेड़ लगाए, हाँ हाँ पेड़ लगाए,
पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए, पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए। धरती माँ पुकारती है, पेड़ लगाए, हाँ हाँ पेड़ लगाए, पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए, पेड़ लगाए हम सब बच्चों, पेड़ लगाए।
So from that place of song and dance and celebration of this wonderful earth, the passion for which brings us together, I would now like to invite the sharing of ministry projects, and we will begin with sharing from Mudita Sadar of the Society of the Sacred Heart in India. Mudita, you have the floor.
Okay. I hope I'm doing the right thing. You're giving me screen share? Yes. Okay, screen share.
Yes.
And share. Okay. And now from the beginning, slideshow from the beginning. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Yes.
Yes,
okay.
we can.
Okay, my topic for this evening, or what I'm going to share about, is my ministry promoting eco-spirituality as a way of life. That's what I do full time. Being the coordinator of justice, peace, and integrity of creation for my congregation in India for the past 10 years. It has been my passion since childhood. My role model is Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation. He led a very simple lifestyle so that others could just simply live. He saved trees by turning old envelopes and using the back to write his notes. I have been inspired by him. Eco-spirituality is personal and engaged. It's God and nature. What do I mean by this? It means performing each and every act with integrity and purpose. Know, learn, notice, pause, open wide your senses to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch the divine all around. Some of the ways of promoting it are, and I have tried all these and many more from the time, from childhood, different ways. Living in the present moment is the essence of eco-spirituality, with body, mind, and spirit in sync, or yug, or union, which means you have to be connected with all God's creation and interrelatedness That is the triptych of relationships. What do I mean by triptych of relationships? Our relationship with God, which means our faith, human beings and creation from the point of view of justice. Eco-spirituality challenges us to discernment, discipline in our own lives, and it is a decision. You decide to live an eco-spirituality way of life or an eco-friendly way of life. I've put down a few of the things, I classified a few and put them down together. Creating true peace through fostering integrity of creation. How do I do this, or how do I promote this? Mastery of self. I have to be a master of myself, in control of everything that I do. I have to be a rational human being. I have to be respectful and have the prudent use of creation and mindful of the needs of the future generations. People and all God's creatures are more important than things and commerce. In India, we say Atiti Deva Bhava, which means the uninvited guest is God 24/7. So if somebody knocks at my door, I must respond to that God. Unless, of course, I have to go to class. I can't keep my class waiting. Then I have to say to the person, I have a class and I can't keep my 100 or 150 students waiting. But be available for birds by keeping bird baths and bird feeders. We have to be available and sensitive to the poor who come at any time, someone in need of a listening ear, so they can come 24/7. And if you're living eco-spirituality, you have to be willing to pay the price. Promoting a positive attitude. You have to have a positive attitude. That is eco-spirituality. See God in everything and everything in God. That's what St. Ignatius told us. It's not mine. It's St. Ignatius who has told us this, and many, many others also. Gerard Manley Hopkins also says the same. Care for the whole body. Organic food, 8 hours of sleep, exercise. This is something I became very conscious of only after I got cancer. I never looked after my body, but now I am very careful about looking after my body, caring for the body which God created. I am also a creature of God. The well-being not only of all, and in India we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one big family. We are all cousins. In eco-spirituality, we call each other cousins. I need a whole hour to explain that in 5 minutes. I can't do it. We live off each other, which means I eat somebody and somebody eats somebody and somebody eats somebody. So we live off each other. And Thomas Merton, the great eco-spiritualist, tells us that contemplation is the key awareness of the interdependence of all things. Another aspect of eco-spirituality is caring for our common home, that is Mother Earth. We say Dharti Ma in India. Grow trees in open spaces, plants in small containers, green walls, vertical gardens, air purifying plants in the bathroom, in the bedroom. I have them on my window. I have here the bedroom plant. I have money plant in my bathroom. I have lots of herbal things on my small terrace garden. So it's possible. Nothing is impossible. No plastics, Tetra packs, e-waste. I collect it all and then dispose it accordingly. Reduce, reuse, recycle, zero garbage, segregation, composting, trash to treasure, mending, impact of fossil fuels. Small ways in which we can help Mother Earth. But if everybody does a small thing, it becomes a big ocean. Develop a green heart. I have developed a green heart because of Gandhi, because of Mahatma Gandhi, my hero. Eco clubs for staff and students, eco walks, hikes, nature trails, educational trips to bird and wild sanctuaries, stay in forest guest houses with students for eco camps, enthusing them to watch at night from a mashan. Mashan is a tree house, a hideout where you hide and watch all the animals in the night. It's an exciting experience, especially for children. Snorkeling to see the wonders under the water is another sight which you will remember all your life. Feature children's films like Chaka Chak. It was a special film done which I kind of advocated and promoted across Bombay. All the schools in Bombay, I promoted it. dissemination. Now these are college students, and they're making the pledge to save water. They're taking the pledge not to use extra electricity, not to waste water, not to be careful about fossil fuels. This is from St. Xavier's, Patna. So lectures, seminars, conferences, webinars, name it, and you can do dissemination of eco-education, writing articles for magazines, newspapers, scientific papers to spread the latest eco-research, planting marigold flowers to ward off pests. So easy to do it. Eco games, multimedia, signing petitions. There are n number of things that you can do to disseminate eco-education. And I've done many, many, many things along life's journey. I'm 65 years old, so all along. From ego to echo. For my own pride, get away from ego and materialism and pride and all the things that I want. And think about ecology, the whole of humanity, the whole of the cosmos. From anthropocentrism to cosmocentrism. Man is not, anthropos is not the center of the universe. The cosmos is what we are all in. We are living in the cosmos, in the universe. So that a shift from anthropocentrism to cosmocentrism. And how can we do this? Meditation, different kinds of meditation, eco prayer services, eco retreats, a lot of eco retreats I have done, I have given. Integral ecology, teaching people about integral ecology, eco-justice, etc. Earth meditation, Shinrin Yoku. That's a Japanese way of bathing in the forest atmosphere. Oh, it's an enjoyable experience. Heighten awareness. And if your awareness is heightened, then you will be moved to act. With the unceasing flow of God consciousness, when you are now the present moment, then you can experience and feel the unceasing flow of God consciousness by plunging into the wells of wisdom from science, from religion, from indigenous peoples, women, mysticism, art, name it any, and you are there to realize the creative energy that is available in the sacred earth.
7 o'clock prayer.
To touch the divine in the sacred earth. Great awareness. In India, we say Mahaprajna. And great compassion, which again we say Mahakaruna. In order to co-suffer, when you co-suffer with another, when you empathize with another, you are moved to act. And that is what we call eco-conversion. We are moved to act and we must act. Only then eco-spirituality becomes a reality. That's all, because I have only 5 minutes. Okay, God bless you. Thank you. Now, how do I come out? Okay.
Thank you so much, Mudita. And your passion is so evident and overflowing. And I'm sure that energy is what draws so many to you in your endeavors as a spiritual leader and an awakener of this consciousness that is innate to all of us, this connection that we're born with to the earth that made us, and to all the components of earth that literally form our bodies and with which we are in constant exchange. It's such a life-giving type of awareness to walk through the world with, as is, I think, evident from your energy. So thank you so much for sharing that vitality of that as your personal, very, very personal ministry, and also one that you do on behalf of your congregation. And I would...
Thank you, Teresa.
Yes.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Teresa.
I would next like to invite Efrain Vasquez, who is a member of the Claretian Missionaries in Sri Lanka. Efrain?
Thank you. I will share the screen also.
Great.
Okay. I have prepared a short PowerPoint, only 4 slides. I would like to share with you this one. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. since some years back, I am here from 2016, but before that already, my brothers here, they started working about GPIC. But when I was engaged in a formation team, we work about this GPIC, how to integrate and make part of our formation programs. And in that way, became GPIC as an integral part of our initial formation in the novitiate, even in the minor seminary novitiate, and also post-novitiate formation. Right now, I am in the theology house, which is the post-novitiate formation house. This is our community that we have. It's an international community. We have from 7 countries at least here. And it's an interesting experience, surely. Now, what we try to do, of course, after Pope Francis document Laudato Si, which was timely given in 2015, we try to emphasize much more. And we aim to this number of Laudato Si. When the Pope explains about ecological education, he is expecting and suggests us as all Christian communities, formation houses also, to somehow make our formation programs that may help all our brothers in a responsible and simplicity way of life. I understand this one as a style of life that we try to do. And also this grateful contemplation of God's word, how we contemplate, especially chapter 16 of 6 of Laudato Si is very strong in this, how to contemplate God's beauty in whole creation. And also the concern about the poor, listening to the poor and listening to the environment of our Mother Earth. This is somehow our background inspiration and guidance. And how we answer or we implement this one. Here I have summarized some few things. We try to celebrate every time, every week, every month, and then also every year, different activities in such a way that our new missionaries, they may be in the future persons who can announce the good news, not only to human beings, but also to the creation, and receive also the new good news from the creation as such, and share with the human beings. In that sense, we try to work because we understand that our formation, our Christian spirituality, our Christian view of faith is very much, let us say, human being and God. This is two polarities, unifying these two polarities or two entities. Simply, that is theology, what is being taught also in the official way of the church. But we have neglected the other part, this creation part, the environmental part. That's why we try to balance this one. We have some activities that we do there in this house also. We have the 4th week of each month, we dedicate to GPIC. It is about community prayers, celebrations, and reflections, everything related to GPIC. Usually the youth or the young brothers, they are very much creative nowadays, using especially this media and videos, all this one. Then also we have the interreligious meditation, that is once a month, and also prayers. We try to engage with the Buddhist monks and also with the Hinduism. With the Muslims here, it's not yet easy, but we are trying to do that. But it's so far we didn't have any close experience. Of course, the ecumenical way with other Christian believers, the Protestants, we have also some experiences. And then, of course, we have the daily gardening, social service that we do every month. And this view, know how to listen the poor and do something for them. And especially this is how to make wake up the conscience of our brothers, how they need to be in touch with the reality of the poor and do something. And when they are already in the service and the mission, they can have much more easy to plan and implement the things. And also every birthday of each one, we are called to plant a tree and care also and help that us to grow. And then we have also the implementation of 7 goals of Laudato Si and its actions. This is a congregational project that is going to be implemented this years in this 7 years, as it was launched by Pope Francis also. And that one we are doing. And then we have some week every semester, and also annually we have the season of creation that we celebrate and reflect also, mainly united with all other Protestant groups and also our Catholic Church in general view. And then we have the reflections and actions according to the Ecosocial calendar. We have elaborated a small calendar which contains all the days about related to the social justice and also to ecological justice, like Day of the Tree, Day of Water, all these ones. We try to celebrate and also reflect and be aware about that. Another beautiful thing that we do is this ecosocial reading of the Bible and Claretian charism. We are rereading really because our charism as a Claretian is to be missionaries of the Word of God. But to some extent in our history, we have read only with the one eye, let us say, one eye. This is with the social eye, let us say. No, our option for the poor, all this one after Vatican II, it was very much strong. But we didn't read with another eye that I can call the ecological eye or environmental eye. And now nowadays we are doing that one, reflecting each part of the Bible. Always we can find something beautiful in both sides, social and ecological view. The same, the Claretian charismatic sources like autobiography of Father Claret and all other spiritual writings, we are finding a lot of beautiful elements that helps how Claretians we can be part of this beautiful mission, which is much more integral. For that, we no need to be Franciscan, surely, but we know that the holy people, the saints, they were very much open to the creation and to God, and they were inspired for whole reality as such. In that sense, we find the beautiful meaning of Claretian charism, also how Claret was reflecting on that. Now I want to share with you some few photos, just as an example. No? We have here ecological celebrations that we have mass in the garden, or sometimes into the forest there. And then some social actions that we do for poor schools or for poor families, and also our reflections and meditations with Buddhist monks, and some evening prayers dedicated, of course, to GPIC, and experiencing the nighttime, the light and the fire, air, all these natural elements. That is what we are doing these years, and we try to make part of our life, part of our formation, so that with the time, we don't need much to have even a committee for this, but has to be part of our life, something essential that can be in each Claretian action and decision, of course, in each Christian also. That is what we are trying to do. This is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that sharing, Efrain. And I really appreciate the many ways that you brought forward this idea that there's such a rich soil for an integral way of living and an ecological harmony within kind of the roots of what Christianity is, because at its core, it is a faith about a union of things, about the converging, which we've understood for a long time very well, about this meeting, converging of God and humanity, but we just still have more work to do to bring in the other areas of convergence and integration with the rest of the created world. But it's there in our images of the Trinity, this idea of many being one, many parts in one whole. There's so much material and writing there for us, if only we do the work to return and revisit with the ecological eye, as you say. And I also appreciate, given the context of, we approach this idea of ecological or environmental justice these 2 weeks with this idea of how it connects with gender equity and gender justice. And it strikes me that there's a common spiritual crisis behind both gender inequality and environmental destruction. And so it's so important that your efforts to take a spiritual approach, to revisit in a spiritual manner this idea of our relationship with Earth, is mending and healing that spiritual crisis that's really underlying all of the different forms of gender violence that we see in the world. And that's also true of your ministry, Mudita, of responding to the spiritual crisis underneath all of our other struggles as humanity. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
And from the Claretians in Sri Lanka, and now to a Claretian sister in India, I would like to invite Jagajoti Mary to share about her congregation's work in India.
Ma'am, I have not prepared PowerPoint such as.
No problem, no problem.
Okay, we have every month, the first Sunday, we dedicate for this JPIC, and we have special prayer for the environment. We see according to the situation, we read the newspaper, we collect the newspaper from there, we cut the pictures, how, it affects the environment, how we are bringing peace in our country, especially now in Ukraine, war is going on. So all these pictures in the world level also, we collect different pictures. And every month we have the first Sunday, we have the peace prayer we conduct. Of course, in each, we have the turn, every week we have the turn in the community. So according to the turn of the sisters, they do the creatively the prayer. JPIC for that, we dedicate one thing we do. Then apart from that, we also have, we offer mass every month. We offer mass for justice, peace for our country and for to take care of the environment. So we also offer mass for every month. Then of course, we also introduce the novitiate, especially we help the novitiate, to encourage them to meditate the environment. Every day, 1 hour we have the meditation. So once in a week, they to have the environment meditation to feel the nature, that we have, we conduct them. That's what we do. Then of course, we also, not only in our community, the whole congregation, all over the world, wherever the declarations are present, everyone, we make effort to spend an hour for adoration, for justice and peace every month that we have. So this is what practically we do. Also, when we go for the family visit, we also encourage the families to be united with our prayers, and we also invite them. When there is adoration, we invite them, please join with us. Today we offer this, prayer for the world justice and peace. Most welcome and join with us. So they also come with their spontaneous prayer to share with us. For them, seeing the decoration with what we put, picture here and there. For them, can we pray like this also? Because for them, only God, image of God or Mother Mary, or Jesus Christ, only this was present in the chapel. But when we present different pictures and the war happening, how the people are suffering, when we present, for them also something is different. So they also learn and they also pray. So this is what that we are doing in our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jagajyoti. And I like this idea of yours that that spiritual practice is absolutely a form of education, not only about the events of the world, as in your example, but an opening. It's kind of the best of what education ought to be, an opening of the heart and the mind to be more receptive to the truth that the world has to offer us. So sometimes it's about offering specific information, and sometimes it's more just about that act of opening to all the truth that is out there to be encountered. And that's really nice, the way that you integrate it in your ministry, this idea of inviting into encounters with that information in the context of spiritual practice, which I think is also especially important when the stories we're hearing about the world around us can bring a lot of sorrow and grief. And it can be a very heavy weight to carry if we're simply hearing it in the context of a news story or program. But when we encounter it spiritually or through prayer, we have a way to hold it and to move through it and to feel called to response in a way, I think, that that allows us our own personal sustainability to continue keeping our eyes open and our ears open to the world and not having to hold it away just to preserve ourselves. So thank you for that example of your ministry as well.
Thank you.
And that is everyone who requested beforehand to share about their ministry. So I'd just like to invite anyone else who is in the room now. If there's something, a ministry that you've been reminded of that you'd like to share with the group, or if you'd simply like to respond to someone who has spoken already, or ask a question, or just share your reaction to anything you've heard so far, I invite you to raise your hand just to indicate that you'd like to speak, which you can do either by turning on your camera and waving, or you can use the raise hand button, which you can find at the bottom of your screen. Underneath the reactions button with the smiling face, there is an option to raise hand. And that is another way that you can indicate that you'd like to speak. So to start, I see the hand of Efrain, so go ahead.
I would like to ask something, Sister Mudita. She is a long time ago working this. Which kind of difficulties she met in the service? No, because I knew even in my original province, Peru, Bolivia, Latin America, I found this difficulties, especially with the elderly people, clericians. Okay. Sometimes they used to question many things, and then it's very difficult to transform that. I don't know which kind of difficulties she met.
Okay, I'm happy to answer you. Can you see me?
Yes, we see you.
Okay. Okay. I must confess that like-minded people, you can, gel very easily. The greatest difficulty I have is my own congregation, my own community. I go and do programs for other novitiates. I go and do programs for other juniorates. I go and give eco retreats to other congregations. But my own congregation seems to be very, 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 very busy with their own cabbage patch. So, of course, there are a few members in my congregation who are also interested in ecology and understand the deeper meaning of the connectedness and things like that. But my biggest struggle is to convince some or majority of the members in my own congregation. There are a few who are extremely committed to integral ecology. So that has been my greatest struggle. I have done things in other congregations, many congregations I have done, in men's congregations and women's congregations, but my own congregation doesn't seem to understand, and that's my greatest pain. It's my greatest pain and my greatest sorrow, because in fact, they become a block sometimes. When I collect all the garbage garbage, I mean, I classify the garbage into, things, the plastic separately, the tin separately, cardboard separately, and I keep them in plastic packets. And then I kind of dispose them accordingly, so they will be recycled. But some members in my own community say, "What is this rubbish you are collecting?" I say, I'm saving the planet. And every time when lights are left on, electricity is wasted, water is, I keep singing, I keep playing the broken record. I keep repeating. Some of them do get convinced, and that's eco-conversion. And some of them don't. The younger ones are more difficult, hardcore to understand. The older ones somehow seem to understand better. So, and I even show them the electricity bills. Look how our electricity bill has come down. There was an elderly sister who kept telling me, she used to go to all the rooms and put on all the lights. And she said, "I like light." So I said, "Yes, you like light, but what about people in the village who don't have light? What about the operations that cannot be conducted because we are wasting electricity?" Slowly, she has understood. And when there was floods and lack of electricity in her own hometown in Kerala, she understood. I said, "If you do this here, your family is going to be affected in Kerala or in smaller places." So these are small ways in which, and we can help one another. That's how I have struggled. I am convinced. I live my life. I'm fully passionate about the environment. So whether I'm JPIC coordinator or no, I don't care. I live my life in love with planet Earth. And there are many who appreciate what I do, and the way I live. Some don't. Fine. That's okay by me. Whether I continue, even if there's another coordinator for JPIC, I will still do what I'm convinced about, because it's my passion, it's my dream, and I will live it 24/7. Does that answer anything, Father Efrain? Small things. You can do small things, but it finally mounts up to big things. Because if I do a small thing and you do a small thing and somebody else does a small thing, I'm convinced if each of us do a tiny little, add a tiny little drop of honey to this big, wide, bitter ocean, one day it will become a sweet ocean. I'm convinced about this. I'm 65 years old, and all along life's journey, I have seen how I used to struggle. I used to put the save your paper in order to save forest. One provincial scolded me for turning the envelope and sending it to her. But I have sent those turned envelopes to bishops, to cardinals. I have many friends, and they had no problem. But one provincial of mine scolded me for using a turned envelope. She said, you are not respecting me. I said, "Sorry, sister. Next time I will send you a clean envelope." But I will still continue sending it to my friends who accept it. There was a Jesuit who gave me a whole packet of envelopes in order that I will use new envelopes. I said, "Sorry, I will give those envelopes as a gift to somebody, but I will continue my mission of saving the forest." Many, many years ago when I was a young religious. These are little ways in which I have. And also another thing which I have found very helpful is catch them young. When they are young children, when you take them out for, expose them to the beauty of nature, they cannot contain it. And for the rest of their life, you have won them over. I'll tell you a story of a little boy, 5th standard boy. I took him snorkeling. I took him to Andaman Islands. I used to take many children out for camps and educational field trips with trained people to teach us and things like that. So everybody went into the water snorkeling with a government help. Each one had a guide who took us into the water snorkeling. This one little small boy would not go in. So finally I told him, Manjit, a sick boy, please, for my love, please come at least for 1 minute with me. Finally, I pulled him. He was crying. I took him into the, for snorkeling. And you won't believe, it was towards the end of, we had to leave the island. Once he saw what is under the water, he would not come out. And we had to leave that island and go home to our hotel. The boat started and the boy would not come. We had to literally, he was crying, yes, sister, I want to stay here. I want to stay here. I said, no, we can't leave you on this island. I have to take you home with me. So that is the greatness of nature. When you see and experience and touch, then you cannot, that's like a magic, it's like a magic wand. That child is always in love with all the environmental projects, because in 5th standard, when he was 10 years old, I introduced him to the wonders of the underwater. And I've taken children to hills, mountains, valleys, toured all over with children, with teachers, even with a Jesuit principal who was not convinced. I kept telling him, Father, one day you will be converted. And finally, he was converted. We used to go every holiday, take the children out for nature camps, nature trips. Wonderful. I've had a lot of wonderful experience. Finally, he was convinced and he came with a group to Himachal Pradesh. It's a beautiful place. And then he enjoyed it so much that he kept asking me, Sister Soda, when are you taking your next trip? And he came with us, with me and teachers and students for many, many trips after that.
That's beautiful.
So,
That's wonderful. Thank you, Mudita. And I think that speaks very much to the self-evident miracle and preciousness of nature, the importance of that encounter in most rapid conversion we can imagine. Is there anyone else that would like to respond to any of the sharing or ask a question? Anyone? You could just raise your hand in the button or in your camera. Carol, yes, go ahead, Carol.
we can't hear you, Carol. We can't hear you.
Okay. It seems her microphone isn't working, so maybe, Carol, you could write in the chat box so that we can hear your sentiment, your response. Is there anyone else who'd like to comment or ask something? Anita Cheria has shared, the presentations have been extremely personal and inspiring. Thanks to all who have shared. And I know I can say the same. And okay, we say, oh, Carol would like to share. She's glad to be part of this wonder team this evening, her first time, and congratulations to all. Thank you for being with us for the first time, Carol. And the Justice Coalition of Religious, the group that has convened this meeting, is always planning new programs and new invitations, and we actually have a meeting, the sort of designed like this, the second Friday of every month at the same time. So we hope that we have your email address now, so we'll be inviting you to participate in many other gatherings and continue to be part of this community. Very glad to have you with us. And I see no other requests to comment, so I will invite us into a moment of closing prayer. Our closing prayer, if you've been with us other days this week, you'll recognize, but hopefully you'll still find it enriching. We greet all our relations through the sacred elements of life. We greet the fire, the air, the earth, and the water. We greet one another as sister and brother reflections of these sacred elements, all children of Mother Earth. We hold Earth. We hold sisters and brothers who suffer from storms and droughts intensified by climate change. We hold all species that suffer from a loss of habitat or food source. We hold world leaders delegated to make decisions for life. We hold Earth. We pray that the web of life may be mended through courageous actions to limit carbon emissions and pollution. We pray for right actions for adaptation and mitigation of climate change to help our already suffering Earth community. We pray that love and wisdom might inspire our actions as individuals and as communities. We hold Earth so that we may, with integrity, look into the eyes of our sisters and brothers, all beings of the world, and truthfully say, we are doing our part to care for them and the future of all Earth's children. And as we go forth from our sharing and gathering today, we hold ourselves to the promise of right relationship with Earth. May love transform us and our world with new steps toward life. Amen. Thanks once again to all of you. Special thanks to those who shared, prepared some storytelling for us and gave us a bit of a very brief understanding of the wonderful, passionate work that you're doing to integrate ecology and love of the earth into your many spiritual and practical works in the world. Your ministries and your projects are an inspiration and an encouragement and examples of the good practices that we who are at the United Nations hope to bring forward to governments as an example of how we hope to see them guiding entire nations for the common good of our whole earth. So thank you all for being here to share and to listen and to be community. And we look forward to connecting with you at other moments in the future. And we'll be sending invitations your way through our regular newsletter. Thank you all very much and have a good night.
Thank you, Teresa and team.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless.
you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Blessings, peace.